Baltimore.com. My host with the most to the right of me, Miss Lady Pope. What's happening?
Skills, tell me why you mad, man.
My thing is like,
2018.
Yes.
like it's been plenty of cats
And
who
I'm
tried to
DJ
do rap
Stewart, the
ups, and that's
sophisticated
cool.
savage one.
But nobody.
And we are here on RadioOnFire.com, home of our good producer, Diamond K. Catch him on the Diamond K Morning Show. New episode streaming daily at 9 a.m. Call-in number is always 404-436-1277. Today's broadcast was brought to you in part by the brand new reality series, Chase the Dream Baltimore. Watch a group of talented recording artists navigate through life, love, and the entertainment business. New episodes stream every Monday at 12 noon on YouTube or visit facebook.com/Chase the Dream now.
I'm going to get on there. I'm going to spit my 16.
I think they have a show. I think they have a show for you. It's called a rap game. But Radio on Fire broadcast reached over 278,000 viewers per month. Advertise your product, service, or event on Radio on Fire by sponsoring an episode of any of the shows, but specifically ours, Speakeasy, for as low as $50. Visit RadioOnFire.com/promo to get started. If you want to see any past episodes of Speakeasy, visit RadioOnFire.com to watch us on demand. Click radio shows and the name of our show to see any episode you may have missed. 2018, man, and we about to start the show off right, man. Diamond K is here. J Pope is here. Lady Pope is here.
How was your New Year?
New Year was cool.
It was cool.
Stayed in the house.
Me too.
Got drunk.
The excitement of New Year has gone for me. Like, I was in bed watching the ball drop.
In bed watching the ball drop. I think I might have slept as soon as the ball dropped.
Had me some chips. Had my water.
Yeah, it's safe. And I mean, we are in the murder capital.
True. So yeah, I definitely wasn't going. If I ain't going out no other day, yeah. I'm not going out on New Year's.
Yeah, we're definitely in the murder capital. And, you know, it just felt like the good idea, the good thing to do.
Just to sit at home and chill. I was perfectly fine with it, too.
Yeah. But starting off with some quick hits, man. I want to give a big shout out to one of my favorite rapper of all time, LL Cool J, the first hip hop Kennedy Honors awarding.
Yay, LL.
And a lot of people gave him a lot of flack for this because, you know, Trump is in the White House and, you know, you shouldn't go there with Trump being in the White House. But, I mean, you know, he's the first hip hop guy to get this.
Right.
So he had to go in some respect.
Too much life, man. Too much life.
And then my other thing was, you know, is this, I'm not sure, it is a yearly award, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So, I mean, my thing was, you know, why didn't this happen sooner?
True.
That's a better question. 2008, 2009, why didn't this happen earlier? That's the better question for me. So I think, you know, it shouldn't really matter who was in the office. I think for the culture of hip hop, LL had to do it. He's one of the best people to get it, and he deserved it.
Hey, he's pretty dope. I like LL.
Pretty dope.
Please on the eyes as well.
Oh, God. Another quick hit. Moving along amicably. The Gilmore homes in Baltimore City, where Freddie Gray resided, or the neighborhood in which he resided, is being torn down. Catherine Pugh announced that recently that they are tearing down the homes due to complaints of safety, all types of other issues and things that, you know, we have with urban areas, I guess, for lack of better words. How do you feel about that?
It should be torn down. Have you seen Gilmore Homes?
Yes, I have. Okay. I have. I mean,
should have been torn down 20 years ago.
I mean, are you saying from a standpoint of it being like just ran down structurally?
Yeah, it gotta go.
Well, I mean, I would then question how many of the homes in the city have to get torn down. Westport,
all that.
You know, the ones out there in South Baltimore and McCullough. I mean, is that going to be the standard? Or are we going to be tearing down all of the homes to rebuild and do different things?
The plan. I thought that all of the project housing complexes were to be demolished, and they were going to put different new housing there. Mm-hmm. However, they'll do that, but the people who were displaced in the first place probably won't be returning.
Right, and that's my thing. Like, they announced that they'll be tearing them down, and I mean the news cut her off when I was listening to it, but they announced that they'll be tearing them down. My question is, where is everybody going?
To the county.
To the county, Baltimore County.
Yep.
Okay.
They've already pretty much started flooding, especially like
Parkville.
Essex, Parkville,
Right.
Owens Mills.
Right.
They've been already, doing that, slow walking that for a while now.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of Owings Mills, what we learned today is that the Sam's Club closed down abruptly out there, and that's a little shocking to me.
Yeah, because it's like, at first I thought I'm like, that has to be illegal, but I was informed that when you're an at-will employee, they can do that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I think that is absolutely horrible.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know what that's about. They said it probably has some correlation with Walmart announcing that they were increasing the hourly wage to $11 an hour.
Right. And I thought Walmart and Sam's had some type of
they have like
connection or some partnership. So I don't know how true that is, but I know the people out in Owings Mills, and this is local news that we're talking about. Obviously, we're talking about Owings Mills, which is in Baltimore County. And they closed down the only Sam's Club in that immediate radius out there, and gets a lot of business, gets a lot of traffic. I mean, when I worked out there, I went out there all the time, so I know, folks out there are probably pretty upset about that, but they're closing that down abruptly. But moving along, another quick hit. Black Panther comes out. In a month.
Goodness. So, I'm super excited because I'm a big Marvel fan. Me and the sons and I, we get down with the Marvel. We do it big. We get the shirts, the superhero masks. We do it big.
Okay.
So, when we saw Black Panther and, what was that?
Captain America Civil War?
Right. When we saw him in Civil War, we got super excited.
Now have you done any backstory research since I last told you?
No. It's on my to-do list. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to do it before the movie comes out.
Okay.
Definitely for sure.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet. But we have our Black Panther shirts. We ready. We here
ready.
for it. We doing it for the culture.
Now,
okay?
you're not going with a dashiki?
No, I have a Black Panther shirt.
Okay, that makes sense.
I got a whole outfit coordinated in my head. I'm ready for it. I'm really excited to have an all-black cast, a black director.
Not technically all black, but majority black.
The majority of the cast is all black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, super excited. And like I said, this movie does well. It puts it out there to show that it can be done.
Well, more importantly, what we just learned recently is that this is the biggest advanced pre-sale tickets of a Marvel Cinematic Studio movie.
And that's big because Marvel break records. These movies come out and they do really well. So
absolutely,
I think that's absolutely amazing. I myself planned on seeing the movie 4 times.
And it shows the power.
I don't even care the movie's bad.
It shows the power of the community's dollar.
Yeah.
Everybody's rallying behind this and getting behind it.
Are like the biggest consumers in the country.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I hope that this is a Black History Month field trip.
Yes. As it should be.
Just to be a part of the experience because I think that I have a feeling it's going to be history making.
So sticking on the Black Panther topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this briefly.
I know where you're going with this.
I don't know how deep or what else happened regarding this, but I know there was a little stir up of things about Michael B. Jordan and his girlfriend not being black.
So what? Who cares?
And that there would be a boycott behind that.
But why though?
I mean, I don't know. I know this personally doesn't resonate with you,
no,
but at the core of things, this goes back to a larger issue with black men and dating outside of their ethnicity. I mean, what do you make of that?
You do what you want to do. I don't think love has a color.
So what do you say to the sisters that believe that black men should not be dating outside of their ethnicity, but it's okay for black women?
That's your personal opinion. Everybody's experience is different.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that they probably feel like they are well within their right to feel that way. And I'm not saying they're not. I think that we have to respect people's decisions.
Right.
And what they want to do. And if you want to date outside of your race, then you do that.
See, my thing with it is, I agree with you. I think, you should be able to do what you want and be what you want to be with, how it's going to work for you. You could be with anybody and it's not going to work regardless. My thing is I don't like when people come out and openly say, well, I don't want to date someone because of their ethnicity or something like that. I think that's always damning in its own self.
And then it's like, the same type of racism that we come up against and the nuances that we experience. We kind of project that as well.
We perpetuate it.
So it's
kind
like,
of perpetuate
come on,
it.
like, let's just be realistic. That man could have had an Asian girlfriend, a Filipino girlfriend. Well, damn, Filipinos are Asian. You know what I'm saying? He could have a girlfriend of every nationality, but the only one that people would really have an issue with is with a Caucasian woman.
I don't know. I mean, some people have expressed it in anything that is not black. But to your point, though, if we continue to perpetuate this level of prejudice, right? Will there ever be a time where our kids and their kids will live in a true post-racial society?
I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Because if you continue this trend, how?
I would like to believe that it could happen, but I don't know.
You know
I
what's?
don't think so. But also, you have to let people be themselves. You never know what his experience was. Maybe he dated a few black women and he had horrible experiences with it, and he wanted to try something new. Like, I don't see a problem with that. Or maybe this person that he encountered really swept him off his feet and made him feel away. Like,
and that should be the most important thing.
You know what I mean?
That should be the most important thing.
I mean, just
I often think about this because it's like. I often question is like, are we ever gonna be able to have that quote unquote post-racial society if we ourselves? Because it's like some people saying we're not fighting for. I don't want to be equal. I don't want to be with them. I don't want this. I don't want that. But it's like, okay, we know the system is what it is, but what are we really teaching our kids? Because it's like when you look at our kids naturally and you look at kids interact, there is no ethnic differences. They see a kid, they see another kid. And when you look in neighborhoods, certain neighborhoods that have a lot of intertwined ethnicities, you don't see people thinking differently. If you go down to Pigtown right now, you go down to Essex or somewhere with a high concentration of mixed ethnic relationships, you see black and white people struggling on drugs, poor or happy and celebrating together. And you really don't even like when I'm walking down there, how you can be somewhere and you're the only black person there and you get looks from people like, why are you in this part of town? When you down there, people don't even look at you any different. So it's like we have those glaring examples of where it could work. And is it because these people have hit rock bottom and they don't know any difference?
Once again, you have to value a person's experience and what they've been through and how they perceive the world. I mean, it could differ so much between person to person.
Right.
I saw a video on Facebook where these two little girls were best friends. One little girl was white, one little girl was black. And they kept telling everybody that they were twins. And the mothers of the children, they were doing an interview. One person went up to him and was like, you can't be twins because she's black and you're white. And it really hurt one of the girls' feelings. So she started crying. And she was like, well, how do y'all think y'all twins? And she said, because we have the same soul.
Wow.
It was the most adorable thing ever. And they
Did you
were
cry?
like tight.
Did you cry?
Tight. I teared up just a little bit. But they were like, what, 5 years old or something like that. And,
right.
They were really, really close. And to think, this is interaction at its purest form.
Right.
They don't see that they're different colors. They know it's a difference, but it's not, a big issue.
So, I mean, sticking with that, right, and not to get into it too long, how do you as a parent go about teaching your black children that there are ethnic differences? There are some people out here that not only will they get you in trouble, will they be bad for you no matter what they look like, but there are some instances where you will get targeted or picked on because you look some kind of way. How do you balance that?
It's a very difficult conversation to have with children because some children I don't think can grasp the magnitude of it. My kids are very green, so
really
they're green. I'm happy they're green. I like
yeah,
my
no
children
doubt.
Are children. However, we've had these conversations, and I've had to address it whether I wanted to or not because the outside world brings it to them.
Right.
So, I mean, you have to talk about it. And unfortunately, as an African American male, you protect yourself at all times. It's like there is no race of people or person or color or whatever, however you want to shape it, that you ever let your guard down around, because you really have to protect yourself from everybody. You're protecting yourself from the police. You're protecting yourself from your own people who are not on the same page as you, because
Right.
they can harm you too. So I don't that conversation really kind of puts a light on you always be on point.
See, the thing that I've learned too, that I believe my kids are green too, but maybe not. I won't say to a fault, but made them very conscious of things at a very early age. So they say a lot of opinionated things here or there, but the thing, they're in Baltimore City schools, so what other kids are saying, they pick up on. So I mean, as green as we think they are, they know better, but they portray to be what they need to be in front of us. So I mean, that works for me too. But it is a struggle, because at the same time, especially you having two boys, like I say all the time, it's crazy to me. People talk about privilege, right, a lot. And it's like every human being has a position of privilege on this earth. Whether it's male or female, you have a position of privilege. Whether it's as a male, I have a physical privilege. Whether it's as a woman, you have a mental space, or it's something. I don't know. You could turn a privilege into any type of scenario. Okay. It's all relative to the subscriber. But black males right now, nationally and worldwide, and it's been this way for a long time, we are dying faster than anyone else. The CDC projected at one point, our top cause of death was like 20 higher than 20% to be by gun violence, or something crazy. When you're talking about the numbers, we're the ones dying, and and educationally we're losing. Women are running circles around us in the education system, in the career field. So it is very difficult to have these conversations, but especially with black males, I think it's definitely something important. And I tip my hat to you for having two twins at that. So I just wanted to know, like, how do you have those conversations? What does it look like?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're usually random.
Yeah.
They're not
something
playing
pops up.
It's usually something happens and we'll address it, and we go in depth about it. But my children have already had some notions that I had to kind of downplay in their mind. Like, my son just randomly said, I can't call the police if we get in trouble, because if we call the police, they gonna kill us.
Yeah.
That becomes a whole conversation.
Right.
And it's hard to get them to understand the worldview, because their scope is not that big yet. So I know that I'm gonna have to revisit this
right
at some point and get a little bit deeper into it. But it's hard. It's hard for children. Especially when you've built up a safe space for them and they really don't know.
You got to bring it all the way down. You got to crash the world down
it's
that
funny
you built.
We just had a conversation in the car this morning. They were asking me about pepper spray. I don't know why. And he said, "Mom, you ever been pepper sprayed?" I'm like, "Yeah." And my son was like, "What?" He was like, "Who pepper sprayed you?"
Yes, who pepper sprayed you?
It was the police. And so he was like, "Oh my goodness." He was like, "You was fighting?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't fighting." So I had to, kind of describe the story to them. And then they were like, "Oh my goodness, Mommy, I'm so upset that you went through that." And I'm like, "I'm all right. I survived."
We're not going to jump into why you were pepper sprayed. But, I mean, we all have, many of us have been pepper sprayed before. I have myself as well. But we're not going to get into it. Usually,
So, I mean, it's stuff like that. And I think that I like when we have these conversations. I like that they're organic. They're not forced.
Right.
They just come up and, it's just something that we address.
The beauty of parenthood.
I'm so happy that you brought up
pepper spray?
Education. No,
Oh,
not
education. Yes. Yes. Let's do it.
So I had the pleasure of attending the school board meeting this past week.
The Baltimore City School Board
at
meeting?
The illustrious school board on North
Avenue.
Avenue.
Yes.
Where the parents, teachers, family members of children of the city of Baltimore came out, and to me, I felt like it wasn't enough people there. They packed out the room where they were having the meeting, and then they had an overflow in 2 other areas.
Okay.
However, these rooms weren't that big.
Okay.
At the beginning of the meeting, there were a lot of people, but as the meeting went on, people, kind of started to, leave or whatever.
Right.
So we had this meeting, and they basically told us nothing. They addressed some of the articles that was done in the Baltimore Sun, and they talked about how the funding is distributed from the governor, and how the city of Baltimore is owed $400 million, but the governor's not giving them this money, and it was kind of a lot of finger pointing. First of all, Santalise.
So wait a minute. The school board hosted this meeting,
Yes.
or the school board hosted this
let
meeting.
me start from the beginning.
Yes.
This was a regular scheduled school board meeting.
Regular scheduled school board calendar
And they
meeting.
had an agenda. However, due to the lack of heat and the schools being closed,
They had to switch it
last
up.
week, they knew people were coming out
Mm-hmm.
to address this issue. So they had some recognition awards, and 2 board members were stepping down.
So
2 board
wait,
members
so
were
they
coming
did.
in.
So they did all of these things before they got to the
They
nitty gritty.
tried to.
Okay.
However, the audience was not for it.
Okay.
So they had to adjust the meeting. The school board chairperson, I'm not sure of her name. I kept trying to say get her name, I forgot. She was quite rude. So things got a little heated. There was
Got
a lot
testy.
of cursing. There was some yelling. And people are fed up, and rightfully so. The school board is basically saying, it's Annapolis' fault because they kind of give us this money in increments to finish these projects, and when it's not done by the deadline, because the issue got worse over time, we have to then give the full amount of money back.
Right.
So we're never getting the things fixed that we need to get fixed.
So they're saying that they got a pot of money that they had. They didn't complete the job
No.
until they had to give the money back.
Right. So, if a job is $1 million, what they would do is say, okay, here go 100,000 here, here go 50,000 here, and give it in increments over time.
You saying the state would give it in increments?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're saying there needs to be a new policy how Annapolis,
Right.
but that's the thing. So, everybody was kind of getting on Hogan. However, I like Hogan. Okay, I do.
I love Larry.
I think that
My man Larry.
I really support that he wants to hold all of the school systems accountable. He believes that all of the school systems in Maryland are misappropriating funds.
Right.
He's called for an investigation on every school system in the state of Maryland. However, Baltimore City, they had an audit, and they're going through everything line by line. And don't quote me on this, but it was like a charge for like $260,000 that nobody could account for. $260,000, and you can't tell me what it's for? Like, come on. So it's like you have principals that are going to the casinos. They are buying new refrigerators. They're going on vacation. Then you have a system where you can only get stuff from an approved vendor list. They upcharge everything the school needs. A box of paper that you can get from Staples that costs $40, they will charge $150 for it and say you can only buy it from this place. So it's absolutely ridiculous. They are misappropriating funds. It's money being stolen, and they know that. And a friend of mine was like, "It's the reason why they don't give it to you in one lump sum. I can skim
for all the reasons.
$1,000 here and there, and you ain't gonna miss it when it's
for
in
all the
small
purposes.
increments.
Absolutely.
But if I took $10,000 when you give me $100,000, of course you gonna see that off the top.
Yeah.
So
No government
oversight.
system would do that.
the oversight is an issue, and I commend the governor for calling it out and saying that something has to be done, because it does.
Well, let's look at it from this standpoint. This is his first full term.
True.
And he came into an
A mess.
a
Yes.
system that already had over $55 million deficit.
Right.
In which because of his policies, and previously our governor, our 2-term homeboy, who was also the mayor at one point. I'm just saying, I don't bang with him, Allie, but our 2-time governor, former mayor, did not resolve these issues.
Yeah, all right.
Had the audacity, we're not even gonna get into that, but you have a school system that he was a part of as a local official, as the mayor. Okay, so we're talking about repairs. We're talking. I'm just going for the mayor. We're talking about a guy that has over a 10. What do you want to say? Almost 20-year track record. But this is what I'm saying. We can't point fingers. This is my point. We can't point fingers at Hogan as being the governor now, when a guy who was around, you can in another 4 years if he gets another 4 years. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with Diamond K. It's the system, because the system allowed this to happen.
But we allowed this to happen because we keep voting in the same people.
I didn't even get to that.
Voting in the same.
I didn't even get to that. So another issue is, the parents. Mm-hmm. There is no reason why we should not have packed out North Avenue for this meeting. Mm-hmm. No reason, because your children are sitting in school rooms with.
Let me ask you a question. What time did this meeting start?
It was at 6 o'clock.
5 or 6 o'clock?
5 o'clock. Open at 5, right? Yeah. So your presence should have been felt, And I saw people down there who didn't even have kids that went to Baltimore City Public Schools, but they were just outraged. So that's another thing. The parents need to be more active. The parents need to advocate for these children. And then you're not only advocating for your child, you're advocating for every child. Like, we have to have a more communal sense of urgency when these things occur. And it's just, the school system, to me, my personal opinion, do not care about these kids. They don't. They have been changing grades. Yeah. They have lowered the grading scale. Yeah. We are breeding criminals. Yeah. We are breeding more bodies to go into the jail system to make privatized organizations richer. That is it. Because if you have a child who is illiterate, what kind of job can they get? Right. And even if they do get a job, it's not going to be a job to sustain a family. And then when your child is sitting there hungry and you have nothing else to do, you're going to resort to whatever you got to resort to. So when you're locked up, can't make bail, can't afford an attorney, you are going to become a part of the judicial system and start making these privatized prisons money. So we're putting more bodies in jail. And that's what the school system is doing, because they're not properly educating these children. I've seen so many seniors that cannot read, that are illiterate, yet they get A's and B's on their report card. I said, I've never seen so much bull in my life. So, and another thing is, when we talking about, them tearing down the project houses and putting everybody to these counties, because the enrollment is getting lowered, they're closing schools, and there's federal funds that are tied to enrollment. Yeah. So that's another issue. It's such a systematic problem. It's not just one thing. It's several different things that are feeding off of each other.
Go ahead, Dom. Okay.
You got a question here. Well, I guess it's more like a statement. So they're saying, why waste time going to the meeting when nothing? I guess she's trying to say when nothing can be changed or put into effect at the meetings.
I don't think that's necessarily true. Mm-hmm. I think our presence can be felt and our voices can be heard if we all band together and we're loud enough.
Well, I think in part that is true, and I don't think in part. I'm not saying it's going to
change tomorrow.
I don't think in part that is correct that you shouldn't go, but if that shouldn't be the end all be all.
Right. And if nothing else, you go to be informed.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the end all be all. And another large part of this is, okay, who we're voting in. O'Malley, again, has a 20-year history with this city. No, but here, follow me on this.
First of all, you got to vote.
Follow me on this, though.
It's not O'Malley's fault.
No. Follow me on this. Follow me on this.
These
follow me on this.
Predate O'Malley.
Follow me on this.
Whether it was Schmoke,
you went from
it was whoever.
Follow me on this. You went from city council to mayor to then governor, right? And you never made any substantial change or hoopla about it. Let him tell it. Running for president, Maryland is the best school system in the world.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a Democratic state, and we saw this 4 years ago change. We had a Democratic state, and we had a Democratic governor that the lieutenant governor couldn't even just walk right in the door because people had such a lack of faith with what was going on.
The lieutenant governor was weak, though. So if we
that's my point.
People didn't even know who he was.
That's what I'm saying, right?
That's my point.
We had a strong.
They knew he was in PG County, not in Baltimore City,
right?
Because he never came here. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. We have as a people, yes, to your point, going to the meeting can't be the end all be all. But we have to stop voting for people. There are people that will vote with the vote and die with the ship just because it's Democrat. We have to stop voting for people by parties and because they know us and because they went to Mervo, they went to Dunbar, they went to this place. Vote by their principles.
Another thing, we have to take the times out to, first of all, know how the government works. I've seen so many people coming at the mayor about what's going on in the schools. No. The money and the funding is coming from the state. So you actually got to...
Who's controlling the money that comes from the state?
To the governor, not the mayor. So don't get me wrong. Everybody has a certain level of responsibility, but a lot of people don't know how the government works, and that is the first issue. They're not going to vote. They're not coming out to vote. We know they're not voting. We see the polls. We see the outcome of voting every single election. They're not even voting. But besides that, they don't know how the government works. So why would you even get in there to look at this list of names? You don't know what these people are doing. You don't know what their responsibilities are. You don't know what they're supposed to be contributing to these neighborhoods or the city. So that's the problem right there. And then on top of that, how many people have taken the time out to go to Annapolis and hear a bill passed?
Not a lot of people.
That's an experience you need to have. You need to see how they do this process.
I believe everybody should sit in on a legislative session.
You have a little bit more knowledge about, how you might attack the problem. Because it might just be an issue of, let's go pack out this one particular delegate's office and put the pressure on them. Because if you don't do what we want you to do, you can forget your election. I'm gonna be outside and telling everybody not to vote for you. I'm gonna go get people in the hood they ain't never voted a day in their life, and I'm gonna get a bus of them.
But
I'm gonna tell all of them not to vote for you.
I think, and I was gonna say, I think that is something that we need to do. And as a larger system, and I've talked about this before, systemically, this country and local cities everywhere have taken the money away from community organizing.
Absolutely.
It is so hard for the everyday citizen to lobby. This is one of the biggest problems with the session, the legislative session. It happens during the 9 to 5 business hours. Mm-hmm. You can't on purpose. Just so people, the everyday Joe cannot go there. It was
yesterday. It just opened up yesterday.
The everyday Joe cannot take off and go to Annapolis and do what they need to do and protest. Even when you look at the unions, the labor unions of the state, they don't even reach 50% of their employees because people are working. They're afraid to talk to them. Yeah. They don't come out. They're not talking. It's insane. And when you look at this city, right? Agnes Welch the Welch family had that district for years. Mm-hmm. Now there's a new councilman. He's new. Bullock is new there. Then you have Delegate Haynes has been there a while. You have people, and I'm not saying these people are doing a good or a bad job. What I'm saying is, older people are the ones voting, so they're going to continue to vote for people that they know and the names that they know. Then we have another class of people that are not educated about voting. They're not doing anything in that realm. Then we have another class of people, right? This comes back to a larger problem. We have another class of people that are educated, they're aware, and they're capable. What have they done? They haven't stayed in the city. Yeah. They've got what they got, and they've left.
And that was another thing, that was being discussed, in the background, because I had several people say, if you want your child to be properly educated, you need to homeschool and we'll put them in private school. That's just the long and short of it. So, you can stay in there and fight the fight, but while this takes years to remedy, your child is getting this substandard education because you've kept them in the school system. Well, so it's kind of a catch-22. But the meeting, the tone of the meeting was very tense. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of cussing. There was a lot of yelling. They talked about several. Well, one particular thing that was brought up that completely pissed me off.
What's that?
I had to take a moment because when I heard this, I was like livid. Rosemont Elementary Middle School.
Yeah, I did mentoring there.
The roof has asbestos, right?
And it's a Coppin State charter school.
The school knew, I believe, prior to 2017, but it's documented that they knew June of 2017. Mm-hmm. However, the parents was not notified until December 7th.
And they knew at least for almost 6 months.
June.
They knew since June.
Then,
they didn't
on top of
notify
that,
until December.
after they sent that letter out, they had the children sitting in classrooms
with masks
on.
But
my outrage stems in two different places. Mm-hmm. Number one, I'm completely pissed at parents who sent their children to school after they knew.
Where were they gonna go?
I understand.
Where were they gonna go?
Some parents, have no choice, because then they brought in the whole issue of, if kids don't go to school, they don't eat. That's a whole nother topic.
And where they gonna go?
But the thing was, there was a parent there that was saying that she brought up that she had found a space for them to go to have class, and they said it was an issue because they would need permission slips or something like that, some excuse they made up. So they found a place where the children could go, but they were not trying to do it. Also, why wasn't the roof repaired in the summertime when the kids weren't in school? Why do you think it's okay to repair this building during the school year when you opening it up and all of that stuff gets into the atmosphere? You're breathing that in.
They did talk about this on the news earlier,
no, you don't see any remnants of it now, but that faculty, that staff, and those students, 10 years down the line, when they have respiratory illnesses and cancer, nobody's going to want to address any of these issues.
Yep, mesothelioma, yep.
I mean, you have to hold parents responsible for a part of this.
But
why would you send their child there? Why are you not at North Avenue
transferring all these
twofold,
though. But see, here's the thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I condone sending my kids to the private schools versus not staying and fight. If you don't stay and fight, when will it ever change?
Listen, I'm not going to stay and fight while my children breathe in asbestos.
No, I'm not talking about that particular. I'm talking about the whole bubble.
Well, that's the thing. Even if my kids go to private school, who's to say I'm still not going to go to the board meetings?
I mean, I'm just saying most people won't.
I probably will know some children that still go to
Baltimore.
But
most people won't do that.
And I
though.
like the fuss, so I'm gonna just go.
But most people won't do that though.
The thing is, you have to get this mindset that every child is my child. And until we get that mindset, a lot of this stuff is not going to get remedied.
And so can't leave them.
Because, like I said, whether you're a parent that has a child in Baltimore City schools or not, there's no reason why we didn't have a bigger turnout at that meeting. They are scheduling another meeting on January 22nd at Dunbar High School from 6 to 8 p.m., where they're going to give people more of a chance to speak, because at this meeting, they only allowed 10 people to speak.
Let me ask y'all this. How is it? Let me ask y'all this. And I'm sorry, no matter what you say, I go back to our local officials. I don't put a lot of onus on Pew right now, being that this is, I can't even fully finish that without saying anything. But how do we have local officials that on one hand, right, when there's national outrage about Confederate statues, get up in the wee hours of the night to remove statues that have been in the city, ain't been bothering nobody. Black people ain't even really walking around these joints. They don't even know who they are, right? Get on TV the very next day and brag and boast about, we did it. Yeah, we removed this. How do we look to these people to know that they have our best interests at heart when they know our babies are sitting in elementary schools with no heat, asbestos, and all of that? How do we do that?
I can tell you how. They don't have our children's best interests.
No. How do we as people continue to keep looking at these people and keep checking their names?
I have no idea.
That's the problem.
I'm completely disgusted.
Why, Jennifer? If you come to my restaurant and I keep giving you the canned greens, and it's cheap for me to give you canned greens every time, but I'm advertising fresh, but you don't never stop and tell me these are glory, why would I change?
True.
That's the problem.
I agree. And like most people were saying in the meeting, that did speak, they said this should not be your first. I mean, this should not be your last meeting if it was your first. Your presence has to be felt. We have to make our presence known to show that we care, because to be very honest, if the parents aren't coming out saying that they care about their kids, why you think these officials gonna care?
Right.
They don't. They still gonna get their 6 figures. They still gonna, do what they do with their kids in private school or in county schools or whatever. Right. And they're gonna just keep passing the buck and doing the minimal work that they need to do just to keep their jobs. Another point another person brought up is that the school board is not elected. They are, hired, so they're not held accountable the same way. I mean, it was quite a few issues that were brought up, and this more. But like this issue has been going on for decades. I remember when I was in high school that I don't remember it ever being a heating issue. I remember the air being an issue.
The air's been an issue forever.
Yeah, the air was the issue. But the buildings have been falling apart. The buildings are very old. They are very old.
And you mentioned the closing of the schools. That is so paramount, because it's like.
And another thing they did. they breaking the schools up. So like Lake
I was
Clifton
just
is
gonna
like
say that.
5 or 6 different schools.
That's what I was just
Northern
gonna
is
say.
like 5 or 6 different schools. I still don't know the new names to none of these schools. I'm still
Reginald
calling them by the
F.
old
Lewis.
names.
Reginald F. Lewis, I think, is Northern
so
now.
It's like, what are you doing that for?
You got Samuel B. Morse that's down in
Achievement
off of
Camp.
Frederick almost. They're moving those kids now probably 6 or 7 blocks. They moved them probably about 6 or 7 blocks north. So it's like now you while the town is still small, now you displacing these kids that literally only had to walk a few blocks, probably about 6 or 7. You know, who's walking them? Who it ain't no buses. It ain't, now you just compacting. It's gonna be a bigger classroom. It's gonna be a lot more going on. It's gonna be a lot more behavioral health issues. It's gonna be a lot more things going on. Like, what are we really breeding for the city?
More criminals, like I said.
But our elected officials, they're not painting that picture. Yeah. We're seeing how so much money is being put into these recreations, this construction in Canton,
but you spend
this new restaurant, this millions of dollars
on juvenile detention center. But the schools don't have no damn heat. Like, some of the stuff is just beyond me. Another thing that came up: where's the money from the casinos? Where's the money from the Maryland State Lottery? Where's the money from the traffic cameras? How is it that we don't have money? The thing is, we do have the money.
We got the money, like Diamond K said. It's just not being allocated.
We definitely got
right.
the money, but it's not being allocated properly, and it's being misused.
Debo, I got Reds. I want Reds money.
I got money. You're right.
But again, if you're talking about the casinos, who was the governor? Who created that structure? If you go to get a small business loan, right, they told you if you qualify for this, right, you can get a loan. They don't tell you that when you go for that small business minority loan that you have to then go through this hoop, got to go through that hoop. Then, if you've done all of that, you now have to talk to the guy that's in charge of these things per your jurisdiction. Then you go on this waiting list that they tell you is about 100 to 200 people long. Well, why is it that long if you got millions and millions of dollars? Yeah. Then you're not giving it to the small businesses. You're not putting it back in the schools. So where's it going?
On their trips to Aruba.
Where's it going? This is insane.
Their new Maseratis. And
This is, Baltimore really right now is at, luckily, this city is lucky that Trump is in office. Because if there was anybody else in office to take attention away from this city, we would be scandal capital. We are scandal capital.
Our city is in really, really bad shape. Like I said, I think the whole city is falling apart. You're talking about the education system. You're talking about the structure of the city.
The police department. The unsolved murder
rate. I saw an article that said we got like the worst case of bed bugs in the country. I'm like, damn, can Baltimore get any positive press at all? It's like every time you turn around, we're the worst of the worst of almost everything. It seems like
you also got a senator under fire right now for there's an FBI investigation. He was indicted. They said in June he was indicted, but now the media is basically now coming to the city officials and kind of hinting, what was your part in this? So basically he took money from this investor that he thought was an investor but was an undercover FBI agent and wrote letters to city housing and different places with his official letterhead virtually suggesting that this project get done. So people are questioning now, what has been City Hall's involvement in this? So I'm not going to be surprised if some more things come out in the near future.
All of these audits and investigations going on, it's
going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And the other sad thing is, man, there's some really wonderful people doing some really wonderful community things, but we never work together here. Everybody wants to be the man. Everybody wants to have the shine. They want the clout. They want the credit. But at this point in time, it's enough is enough, man. Like, if we can't protect the future, we can't even protect the people that protect us.
Listen. Our children cannot read.
Yeah.
They cannot count.
Yeah.
They cannot read.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Baltimore City public schools are known for kind of spoon feeding, just to get by. They really don't go above and beyond. And like I said, it's been a issue that's been going on for decades. I hope that maybe this will put the battery pack in some people's backs and we can get something going.
I don't know that educationally people are spoon feeding everyone, because I'm not a teacher. I don't know what the teachers are going through. Like, shout out to Aaron Mabin, former football player from Baltimore City, whose video went viral when he posted that he was teaching his kids I think he had like a North Face on. They had all their coats on. But see, Aaron Mabin is in a position, if his money is right,
he would be okay.
I don't know what he's done with his money, because I know he quit the game very early, but I could assume that he may be better off than the average teacher. But how many of these teachers are they're victims themselves?
Yeah.
They're going through this and they're probably trying their very best. And I mean, they're in there behaviorally with these kids that they know shouldn't be there, shouldn't belong there. There's no management, there's no parental accountability. We are all over the place and we are all at a loss.
Like I said, there's so many different issues, and it just compacts and it just becomes this big snowball.
Oh, it's an avalanche now.
It's really,
avalanche.
really bad. It is. It's really bad.
It's an avalanche.
Also, this is another segue, how Baltimore has made it on the national news again. Did you see the video of the young lady at the University of Maryland Midtown
I didn't want to
Hospital?
click. I didn't want to click. You got to tell me. I saw it, but I did not want to click. Sometimes you just have to not click. What happened? I didn't want to click. I mean, I'm tired of it.
I watched this and I was completely disgusted.
I saw she was in her scrubs.
Luckily, a gentleman who is a
resident
he's a
doctor
mental
or
health
something.
professional, clinician.
Okay.
Was in the area at the time. They put her in a wheelchair.
So what
her out
happened
from
though?
the emergency room doors.
So started from the beginning.
And put her on the bus stop. That's
in
where
the
it
scrubs?
started. That's what it started. She had on a hospital
In
gown. There was nothing
scrubs
underneath of it. And it was one of those days where it was like maybe 5
It's 17.
degrees outside.
I think it was at max 17 degrees.
So they put her stuff there and they just went away. He was like, "Are y'all just gonna leave her out here? What are y'all doing? Like, why do you have her out here in the hospital?"
Now, was she mentally
You could
ill,
tell that
or?
she was having some type of mental illness event. Something was going on, but she was not loose and she was not overnight. What?
Like, it was nighttime.
Oh yeah, it was dark
at night.
outside.
It was at night.
So he's like, "Y'all just gonna leave her there or whatever?" And the guy said something. I couldn't really make out what he said, and they just went back into the hospital. So she's sitting there cold, and she's like grunting. She might be in some pain or something, but she's not really saying anything. So they had to call the police and the ambulance. So okay, here's the emergency room.
And this is downtown. We talking Green Street.
Here is the
we talking Green Street.
Howard Street. Here's the bus stop. The ambulance came and got her from the bus stop here, pulled into the alley, and went here. And
went back to where they're supposed to be.
The emergency room.
Basically.
So, of course, they released a statement saying, "We have no idea how she was discharged. We did not, uphold our standard of care with her, blah, 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 this, that, and the third." But there is no reason why that should ever happen. Because even if, I was sitting there thinking like, okay, maybe it was no health insurance, maybe, she was combative, whatever the case may be, however you size it up, the woman should not have been discharged and put out the hospital like that.
Yeah, I mean, if mentally she was a danger to herself to where she could not function outside of your care, you should have had her committed.
Baltimore's on national news. So this is how Baltimore major systems, healthcare systems, we got the education system, we got the police department, don't really care about our own citizens. It really needs to bring people to a level of awareness where we have to hold people accountable for the treatment that we are having, for the people who are supposed to serve us, the people who our tax money is paying for. We have to hold these people accountable.
I agree, and that's the overall message that I have, and that's been my issue for a long time. I do not, and this is why I have a major problem, with the previous administration. I don't see how you go from city council to mayor and nothing gets done, right? So, all right, maybe I didn't have the resources to do it. I'm going to be your governor. I go to be your governor. I privatize jobs This man took away state jobs and privatized them, right? Your largest city in your state is in shambles, dude. Then you get the audacity to go on CNN and run for president and say you're going to fix an entire nation?
In case y'all didn't know,
I'm talking about Martin
EJ
O'Malley.
is not a fan.
I'm not a fan. And the problem, the city officials that we have now, you have some 2-term councilmen. Some, our mayor is rounding the end of her first term. These are problems that have lingered around, and we have to stop. We have to stop being so tied and so loyal to the parties versus what the production is.
Exactly, I agree.
It's terrible.
I agree.
It's terrible. But moving on.
So Baltimore, get your shit together. I'm sorry, I used to cuss, but y'all need to get your shit together. This city is falling apart, like from the seams. And if nobody's gonna fight for us, then how we I know we're not sitting back expecting somebody to save us, because that ain't gonna happen. We have to. A part of that is true. A
part of that's true.
And the thing is that
a part of that is true.
Unless you plan on moving to Canada or something, this is the legacy you leaving behind your children and your grandchildren.
This is known as Baltimore calls itself the greatest city in America.
How are we ever known as Baltimore the city? Well, when
you look historically over what has happened, this is the question that you also have to ask your elected national officials, right? Mm-hmm. How is it that we are in a city that is very similar in conditions to a third world nation, yet this is the place where the Star Spangled Banner was written? But you want to talk about people not acknowledging it. This is the city in which it was written. So
shout out to Trump that didn't know the national anthem.
Shout out to him. So where's the concern for such a national landmark? Fort McHenry made the last stand, did all of this. Where's the concern for the city and the people of this national landmark?
Throw the whole city away. Start over.
We'll
start it over.
I'm just saying. If we talking all this patriotism, this is my point. We talking all this patriotism.
The city on so many different levels is real.
This country likes to talk all this patriotism, right? This is a national landmark, bro. We're not talking about Vegas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Vegas is cool, but Vegas didn't really become what it was until years later.
Vegas is awesome.
No. We're not gonna talk
Vegas
about that.
is amazing.
We talking about a place that when you talking about American history, right? When you talk about New York, you talking about Boston. You know what I'm saying? When you talking about the Boston Tea Party and all of that stuff, we talking about a national place that created the fabric of this nation. So when these people go on these television shows and they talk about the importance of patriotism, how in the hell do you call what is going on here patriotism? How?
Because this city turned brown, and brown don't matter.
Correct.
Black and brown does not matter. So
Yes, yeah.
Quote unquote. This city is majority African American.
White flight.
There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna come back because gentrification.
Yeah.
For now,
we see what's systemically happening.
They trying to change Baltimore City.
Greenmount Avenue.
Yes, I see it every day.
Greenmount North Avenue. Have you seen it?
Greenmount from Biddle. From Preston Street.
Isn't that Hopkins? Is that Hopkins?
No. Going south. So from south
I'm
from
saying, who's doing it?
No,
I don't know.
It's just different investors. So you go from Preston and go north. So even when they built the Baltimore Design School, all that neighborhood around there got flipped by investors.
Yep.
Go north of that, you going into the 23rds and all this development. Then you keep going north. Then that's when you cross 25th Street and you're on Guilford. That's when you run into Hopkins.
Let me tell you how they gave the green light. They opened the door. They opened up Pandora's box.
Mm-hmm.
That buy the house, the dollar program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wrap.
You talking about the city one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, they
whole neighborhoods. Watch.
But they was doing that already. They was like 2010. They was selling literally blocks of houses for $50K. Mm-hmm. That's how that street south by the Baltimore Design School. That's how it got flipped. Literally 8 of those houses went for $50,000. So if you're an investor with big money, you flip that. The neighborhood is changing. It's getting gentrified now. You raise the price.
Right.
You done made out.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's a whole nother thing that I have. I mean, gentrification.
Imagine buying a house for $1 and you flip it for like
150,
200.
150K.
What?
Yeah, but you gotta imagine how much work you had to put into that house to get it to the point, to the flipping point.
But then again, there's write-offs, there's incentives.
True.
There's write-offs, there's incentives. So
that's still a hell of a turnover.
Yeah. So you're not even really paying as much as the average investor because you're getting city funding, you're getting grant, you're getting tax write-offs, you're getting economy grants, the ecological. You know what I mean? It's so much. There's so much that's going on. It's like it's a hand over fist. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Switching gears.
Did you see the awards? What was that? The Image Awards, NAACP.
No, I didn't. No, I don't. I mean, the NAACP headquarters is in Baltimore. And I don't feel they're very relevant.
We're gonna say that for another.
But yeah, H&M scandal. The young man.
Damn.
The young man and
did you know
the coolest monkey in the jungle.
Did you purposefully? I mean, did you see I purposefully did not say anything about that on social media?
No, I did not.
No, we didn't even notice.
No, I did not.
No.
Why didn't you say anything about
I'm
that?
not paying attention.
Why didn't you say anything about that?
See, I
Talk
think
to us, Jennifer.
that these things occur and they happen, and you have people who I think people just like the fuss, just the fuss. Not saying that this is not an issue,
That's
but
gonna come
people
from the mic,
like just go ham off anything. I think that we as a society, have become
certain things.
No, it's anything. It's anything. But I think that you know.
So wait. Are you taking the stance that this is blown out of proportion?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is just one of many things that just occur where people just fuss the fuss, and they're not really in tune with what the issue is. They just want to just jump on the issue.
So what's the issue?
I think that this advertisement where this little boy had on a hoodie that says "coolest monkey in the jungle."
Facts.
This African American child, he may have been
the
only African American child in the whole campaign.
Beautiful boy.
He was Kenya.
Okay.
From Kenya.
Okay, he's from Kenya. So, I was told that this campaign was mainly for that originated in Sweden. And
What's the company?
His mother,
Sweden. You gotta say Sweden.
made a comment about the protests and everything, and she said that she felt it was blown out of proportion. She thought it was fine. She didn't see an issue with it. And people start having discussions or whatever, and some people got offended. First of all, you cannot tell somebody they can't be offended, because like I said before, you don't know what my experience was. However, we also have to address the mother and what her experience is. Racism is not the same across the globe. It's not. It's experienced on different levels, but I can say that it's not the same everywhere in every country.
It actually could be worse, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think she's getting a check.
But my thing is, that could be it too. But from what she's saying is that wasn't her experience, so she didn't take it that way. Okay.
But
however,
we also have to remember
as this is a worldwide campaign.
Kenya.
Americans took it that way.
We also have to remember that
it's being marketed
some people don't always have the best intentions for their own children.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So
some people smoke crack.
Yeah.
And you say that's wrong.
Or
they smoke weed with the kids, and you say that's wrong, but they say that's what they want to do.
Now my thing is, I hold H&M accountable. Number one, how many levels of approval did that had to go through before it even made it to be? Because who was the marketing director?
Who was the
sales
Who was the
director?
photographer?
That's two.
And who was the photographer? And of all of these
Who was the
boards
stylist?
that you have, there was not one African American that said, you know what, this might not be what you want to do.
This is a little bad imagery.
Idea.
Somebody probably said it, but they was like, look, we done already designed the shirt. This is what you want your $10 or not.
But why do you put it on the one African American little boy? Why didn't one of the other little boys wear it?
Did you see the other shirts?
Yeah.
See, they had cool shirts.
Yeah.
Tiger on the shirt, lion on the shirt, cool shit.
That was deliberately done.
It was definitely deliberate. And here's the other deliberate part. They did not put the picture of a monkey on the shirt because they knew that it was wrong and it was too blatant. They thought this was just going to pass. They were like, niggas
This
don't
was
read.
it was the only shirt that didn't have the animal on it.
The only
I believe.
one. The only one.
I'm not fact checking.
Yeah,
but
so
I
I
believe.
mean, they issued their apology or whatever, but I'm not even.
That was a
accepting
whack apology.
It was deliberate. You know?
I come
And I
from the
think you
school
gotta
of thought.
you
Why
gotta call a spade a
apologize?
spade.
You shouldn't have to apologize in the first place because
You did what you
should
felt.
have been doing what you're doing.
You did what you felt, you know, and then you put it out there exactly the way you wanted it to be portrayed. You thought that this little boy would be the best model for that particular hoodie.
Shout out to The Weeknd for severing ties with H&M.
And G-Eazy did it too.
Now Jeezy's is white guy.
He's Caucasian.
Okay.
And he had a new clothing line coming out with H&M, and he completely
Shout out to
severed
him,
all
too.
ties with them because he said that wasn't cool.
Because he's doing more. And see, this is the thing that pisses me off. These two guys epitomize real people in the industry because there's so many bigger artists, bigger names that they speak subtly on certain things. I'm not gonna drop names of who they are because I don't want to be called a hater.
About the queen and the king.
I don't want to be called a hater, but they subtly drop these little nuances that we not with this, we not with that. But they never profoundly come out and say I'm not with something. But 9 times out of 10 when they do it though, there's a reason, right?
No,
so when it's like, we gonna drink Ace of Spades, we're not gonna drink Cristal. That ain't because they racist. It's because you're not getting that check from them no more.
Correct.
Not making them
Well,
silent.
before they wasn't getting a check. Sometimes they wasn't getting a check. They was just doing it to be cool.
And when they wanted a check, they couldn't get one.
Get a check. So
But then
they
you know,
bounced.
but then you know what else kind of like really like made me mad. After this whole thing happened, you know, you had people redoing the hoodie and putting words like king on it, coolest king in the jungle and all of that. But then I see this one with this.
Hold on. If the shirt had said coolest king in the jungle, would that have been offensive?
Somebody might be offended.
It would be less.
I don't think
It would be less
African-Americans
obviously.
wouldn't be offended by
So
it.
is it the jungle part that's also offensive?
No, it's the monkey part. We have been associated
But what did they say
with
the word
being
king? What did they use the word king? What if H&M shirt has said coolest king in the jungle or coolest prince in the jungle? Because it's like a young
personally would not have found that offensive.
Okay, yeah, I don't think
It was the monkey term that
However,
got me because there's been negative connotation with us being.
There's also been
equated to
negative
monkeys,
connotations of us being called jungle bunnies.
right? For decades.
What if the shirt has said coolest cat in the jungle?
Coolest cat in the jungle.
And it had a picture of a lion or a tiger or something.
One of the other shirts was
similar to that.
the coolest lion in the jungle. That would have been.
But so if the black kid
when you
that.
say coolest lion or cat, those animals are associated with royalty.
Right.
Those animals
They would never have done that, but yeah.
Right. So
That's true.
I wouldn't
What
have
up,
seen
Jay?
an issue with that. But the thing that I had an issue with was when I saw the meme of this little boy who was Caucasian that says coolest cracker in the box. Why y'all think that's okay? We talking about children.
Yeah.
Nah, but that was them saying you want to do that shit. What about this? And I saw a shirt similar to that that had the white boy that was saying he was getting bullied or whatever.
Yeah.
They put his face on it.
That was kind of funny.
Put some
I saw
kind
that.
of,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand
You're trying to be funny
that's
with
one of our DMs,
It's the
which
internet,
DMs meaning defense mechanism.
Yes.
Belittle
someone
we
else.
don't display our pain. So what we do is we
Destroy
joke
someone
everything.
else.
We try to do everything with comedy. I get it.
Yeah.
But come on, you can't get mad and feel a way about them calling us monkeys and everything, and then you turn around and you calling this little boy a cracker. Like, first of all, I'm pissed because these are children.
Yes.
These are children.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you are perpetuating the same behavior you tell them about you hate. You can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't get mad and say, I don't want you to do this. Or I don't want you to call me a nigga.
Exactly.
And then you go and turn around and call somebody a cracker. You cannot do that.
Because it doesn't do anything. All it does is make you go down to their level. And Michael Rappaport, I follow his show all the time.
I love him.
He has a saying where it's like he
hilarious.
has a saying where it's like Michelle Obama says when they go high, we go high. He's like, no, we go lower. But we as a people, we are not in the position to do that. Not because it's bad imagery, it is, but we are not allowing ourselves to get better than them, to heal. We're just like you're saying. We're bringing out our same old defense mechanisms.
Like hurt people.
Hurt people. Mm-hmm. And it's not a cowardice. It's not a thing of us backing down. No, there's no power in then now tearing an innocent young Caucasian kid down. No, there's no power in that.
I've seen people say, "Oh, I call my son a monkey."
Yeah.
So when he start acting like a monkey, then you ready to knock his head off.
Well, then
but when he starts performing to be what you're calling him,
mm-hmm.
you know, then you have an issue with it. I think, you know, us as African Americans, you know, like I always say, our issues run deep.
Yeah.
Our programming runs deep.
Yes.
You know, our scars are very deep.
Yes.
But once you know better, you should begin to do better.
You should.
You should begin to do better.
You should.
So these are things, you know, we got to address these issues. You know, we have to be mindful of what we call our children. One thing I tell my sons every day, when they get out of my car, I say, you have a good day. I love you. And you're going to be a what? And they finish it and say, I'm going to be a leader and not a follower.
That's right.
Every single day.
That's right.
That's what they are told, because they need to know. I'm drilling it in their head. They say it. It come out their mouth so fluently. They don't even know that they're saying it.
That was important when we were growing up, but it's so much more paramount now because it's so much more. Not even community think, but follow the leader thinking, driven by social media. People are really out here with no sense of reality. You know, people are literally looking at other people's lives. They're saying, well, I should be here. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Why? Why do you feel like you should be doing what's not there for you right now that you haven't gotten yet?
We are raising our children to seek validation from people who don't matter.
Yeah.
In areas that don't matter. And we have, you know, made them, you know, kind of like targets. Like one of the things that I've always said, I really don't believe in peer pressure. I believe in weak-minded individuals that can be swayed one way or another. Because another thing I tell my sons is, you do what you're supposed to do, not what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And you be the leader in the situation and say, listen, this is not right, this is wrong. And you do what you're supposed to do. So if we can, you know, instill that in our kids, you know, a lot of these things that were happening with, especially with issues like bullying, you know, it could probably be to a minimum, because let's be honest, bullying has always been around. You know, at some level, everybody's probably been bullied at some point at one grade level, period, during the school, you know, tenure, because children are mean, they're evil. But
the thing that we're experiencing now with bullying is that we are raising a softer generation of kids.
And that's what I was saying before too. We are so sensitive.
We pacifying
these
kids.
We're so sensitive, and the children just don't know how to cope. They are just straight lashing out.
No, I think it's a difference between us being culturally sensitive, because I think there's some things you got to be aware of, but it doesn't mean that you tuck your head between the pillow and cry and die and wither about it either. But it's like, I don't find it sensitive that I'm more aware that you might be saying some bullshit, but how I handle it, how I deal with it, that's a whole nother thing. And, you know, when we talking about kids being bullied and things of that nature, you know what, I mean, it like you said, it's never been any difference to what's going on, but there are different nuances of things. You know, you have the cyberbullying, you have the things of that nature, and kids are following behind it.
Yeah.
And there's no individualism to say, I'm not going to take it. You know, we're just not we're creating unrealistic solutions to very real life problems. We're telling kids there are no consequences. We're giving them passes for everything.
Yeah,
we're giving kids passes for everything.
Issue.
Like,
speaking of passes, because me and you kind of got into it a little bit about this 2-hour school delay when you think you're supposed to have the kids out there ice skating to school, and I'm saying, did school get closed when you had a little ice on the ground? Absolutely not. Listen, if the conditions outside those doors was not conducive and to me arriving to school safely, my parents would let me stay home.
You didn't answer the question.
What
was school? Did you not go to school in the ice at one point?
In the ice?
Have you ever fell on a patch of ice?
Not ice. Snow, yes. Snow.
You say
blizzard-like conditions, yes.
Exactly.
I don't remember going to school with messing with ice.
This is saying if you got snow, there's a chance you got ice.
Not necessarily. However, when I was driving, I saw children falling all over.
And they need to. And see, that's the problem.
Was crazy.
And see, that is the problem. Kids need to fall. Why are we always trying to stop them from something that naturally gonna happen? You're gonna fall one day in your life. You're gonna fall down on the ground.
You take your big ass out there with your shoes on.
I did.
You go sliding down
I did.
the sidewalk.
I did.
When you fall, you sit in the emergency room.
But I'm older than a kid.
But the thing is, you we're saying, okay, the schools have been closed too many days, blah blah blah. These kids need to go to school, and I get that. But then you have a child who falls and they fracture something, and they home for a week anyway.
Then they break their arm. No, if they fracture something, they get a cast and they take their ass right back to school. The same way I would have did, same way you would have did.
Are your daughters watching?
My baby hurt her arm and she was in school the next day because she was fine. You know what I'm saying? This the problem. We wanna codify these kids and put them in this bubble and protect them. This is why.
That wasn't the only issue. Another issue was they weren't even walking on the sidewalk. They were walking in the street.
Well, that's a problem in itself.
Too much. Like
that's a problem in itself. People gotta have their sidewalks, salted down. The city got to come out and create a plan. You got to do something. You have to come out here and enforce it.
And everything else is going for.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm like, where's my money going? Because y'all definitely taking it.
Yeah. Oh,
You're getting yours for sure.
Exactly. So, switching gears. Everybody's talking about Oprah for president.
Oprah don't need to be president.
How do you feel about that? I didn't really get into it that much. I kind of not been an Oprah fan for a little while. When she took the stance that I don't need to build schools here.
She gives great speeches.
Yeah.
She gives amazing interviews. Mm-hmm. She's also a very talented actress. I thoroughly enjoyed her work when she played.
She earned every dime she has.
However, I don't see her being in politics.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
So what everybody's talking about? A lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were saying absolutely not. A lot of people were saying it's possible. I mean, do you feel like at this point...
See, people fall in love with this.
Right. I was going to say, do you feel like at this point people are just falling in love with it?
People are like, oh, yes, you be perfect, you be this, you be that.
Right.
And they don't fall in love with your ability, what you actually do, your
knowledge, has the ability.
Your wisdom.
She has the ability. She has the knowledge. She's smart enough.
She's smart.
Mm-hmm.
But is she politics smart?
Well, that's the other reason when you think about that though, that's part of the ticket that Donald Trump ran on. He said but look at it this way. He said why continue to vote for the career politician that ain't gonna do nothing for you anyway. Right,
and we see what he doing for us, right?
No, I'm saying he's an anomaly, but at the core of what he's saying, it makes sense. We've had the same senators, the same delegates.
If you don't understand the way the government works.
No. But understanding the government versus how it operates is two different things. I can know how a bill gets passed.
Okay.
But how it actually goes down, that's a totally different thing. You can learn how the government is supposed to work. But if you telling me that I need to learn how to participate in this bottleneck politics, or we can't get you a speed bump, Jennifer, because we got to go through the rigmarole of all this bullshit. I know how that works. Okay. I'm tired of the people that know how it works. I do want somebody that's tired of how it works because it's not working.
I don't want someone who's in the 1% to be president.
I agree with that. 100%.
I don't feel like you accurately represent.
I agree with that 100%.
Americans, so.
I agree with that 100%. That is the overarching thing because that was what I was gonna follow. What I was saying.
And then on top of that, this country is still, I believe, more sexist than they are racist. We're not gonna have a female president anytime soon.
No, that's been proven to be true. But then again, who are the culprits though? Because we know white males at the top, run the world. But then when you look at the voting patterns last election, it was actually white women voting for the sexist man. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, while it is sexist, especially in a lot of ways, it's still very racist. And
when you think about it, there are more women.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we couldn't say, oh, we have a female president. Mm-hmm. She's doing what she's supposed to do. That she would be a good representative and she wouldn't be president.
But would white women say, I want this black woman running things?
Well, white women love Oprah.
I'm not talking about Oprah per se, but they love watching you. They love being entertained by you. But when it comes to them breaking bread with you and putting you in control, they've shown that. That's not going to be the case.
I mean, I understand, wanting some fresh ideas and having somebody, a little bit different in a position that brings some light to a situation. Mm-hmm. However, I wouldn't want Chris Brown to perform a surgery on me. I wouldn't want you to have to change my engine if that's not your thing. Like, how do I know you ever change the engine? I might not want you to touch my car. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that you have to have a certain level of wisdom and knowledge in that kind of area. And for something as big as being a president of a country, I don't think you should.
I agree to disagree, because 9 times out of 10, it's not the person that's in that position, it's who you surround yourself with.
True, you have to build the cabinet. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like,
I do think she would be smart enough to put the right people around her. I do think that.
Yeah, but I mean, sticking to your point, I don't want another 1% person billionaire in that position. But I do agree with the point that I'm tired of the career politicians. Mm-hmm. This is why this city is the way it is right now. And I'm not talking just on a national level. I'm talking on a local, on a state level. I'm tired of the career politicians. This is the same reason why we have people that continue to spend and steal money off the top each time. Because they've been doing it for years and years, and nobody does anything.
I have a question, my brother and sister.
Yes.
Let's take a question from John, okay?
Why? How could you be... Okay, so you need to get some surgery done. You want to get a doctor, right? I'm assuming, who has skills, right? Okay, so with the politics, it's like a criminal. It's a dirty business. The career politician is going to be dirty. A novice is just going to become a career politician and become dirty.
So that basically means nobody.
Was he not just listening? Yeah, I just said that like.
But that means nobody.
There's no way around the dirt.
But that means I'm not saying there's no way around the dirt. But that means there's nobody you're ever gonna put in there that's ever gonna be anything different.
Not long term. You gotta keep.
And also,
you gotta keep turning them over.
Another thing you also have to recognize is
take the incentive for being a until you take the financial incentive for being a politician out of the mix, it ain't never gonna change.
But that's why the billionaires. They're not making the money. Like, they already got the money, so their incentive is power.
Another thing is when you get to certain positions, especially elected positions, positions where you're elected to, you can have these ideas and say, yes, this is how I can change this. This is how I can do this. This is how I can do that. And then when you get in this position and you realize the BS that's in the machine that really get the things moving, you realize that you can't implement it the way you want to implement it.
True.
Or you might have to slow step it. This is a slow process. Like, I got to do this to get the chain reaction to get this to get this. So, we can have someone run on all these ideals. I mean, look what Obama did. Obama had a great campaign about change. And if he had a Congress that supported him, he might have been able to enact that change, but he didn't. They fought him tooth and nail on everything.
And the little
stuff the change he made was minimal.
And the stuff he did get done, this idiot is trying to reverse everything. And then you have another president
who comes right up after you and undo every little thing that you did.
But this is exactly my point. If you have that rogue agent, just think, if Trump was good, how much bucking the system he would do. You have
they'd kill him.
You exactly. but this is the epitome of what I'm saying. You have such a rogue agent that is not a career politician. While he's doing bad, he's doing everything opposite of what they're used to seeing on Capitol Hill.
Not true.
We already talked about
in part.
No, he's actually doing the opposite of what he said he was going to do during this platform.
That's my point.
He's gone in and conformed. Now, he's theatrical, but the tax thing is like a wet dream for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's doing exactly what the Republicans want him to do.
The national way.
Did y'all see the little thing that they was live streaming in the little while they was in there with him and some senators and stuff?
Yeah.
No.
And he didn't know what the hell was going on.
But we knew that.
He always looked like a dead.
He was like agreeing with one. He was agreeing with the Democrats, and the Republicans said, "Oh, you ain't supposed to be doing that."
But we knew that.
To agree with them.
But we knew that.
He don't know what the hell. We knew that. Literally.
We knew that was going to happen.
But I tell you what he do know. He know how to use Twitter.
That's the issue with a novice politician, though.
He know how to threaten. They don't.
The
head of third world countries.
A novice politician.
To get us killed.
They can go in, and the people who's the career ones are behind the scenes pushing the buttons. So they just
But it's
have a
always
figurehead out
always
there.
going to be that way. No matter who. If that's the
In the
case,
words-
if that's the case, it's never going to change.
That's true.
It's never going to change. It doesn't matter who you get in there until you break down the system that it is.
Yeah.
It's never going to change.
Yeah.
And let's think about it. How much does the president really run the country?
None.
None.
He doesn't.
None. It's never going to change. But that's why the system is the way it is. That's why the local governments were established the way they are, to have the amount of power that they have. Yeah. And it's never really going to change until on a local and state level we start to do more and demand more. How the hell are we nationally going to do something? Well, you might as well count the state of Maryland out, because the largest city in the state, we can't even protect ourselves, let alone the rest of the country. So what are we going to do for anybody else?
Speaking of protecting ourselves, any updates on
No.
Detective Suiter?
No.
They stopped talking about that.
No. Exactly my point.
Oh, all right.
Exactly.
When the
my
FBI
point.
refused to take over.
Exactly my
I was
point.
like, the
So they was
FBI.
happy
I
about
said
that.
they
They
don't
was
want to put their hands on it.
Well,
It's one thing after the
because
other.
of who. That's because of who's in charge of that whole department. If this was President Obama's administration, they would have took it.
You talking about
Think
DOJ?
Yeah.
That's
why they didn't take
I don't know, because the DOJ was very.
They would investigate. They would
investigate
They
it.
weren't until the
And then they
department had
turned the
changed.
shit around.
I don't know if
You're
they would have
absolutely
did anything, because the DOJ and all of these police shootings of unarmed black men and different cases, they got in there. But did they really do anything?
But they didn't have a
They really
chance
had a
to.
chance to. I'm not saying
Nah.
They were still
I think they
investigating.
really did.
Nah.
Ain't nothing. Something more would have happened. Is going to happen now.
I mean,
Even
nothing.
if it was a smack on the wrist.
Nothing is gonna happen.
Not now.
Nothing would have happened then. Nothing's
They
gonna
might have
happen
got a
now.
smack on the wrist.
So wait a minute.
I don't see it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Trump say something about if they didn't back up his tax bill that something he correlated something with you need to approve this bill or else you're gonna pay for the building of the wall or something like that. What'd he
Well,
say?
that's the DACA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's DACA. That wasn't a tax bill.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, he said he was gonna get Mexico to pay for it. We knew that wasn't gonna
There's not
happen.
going to be a wall because you can't have a physical. Some of those areas, the locations, a wall is
can't.
not feasible.
You can't.
know what I
You
mean?
can't put a wall over that river.
No, you can't.
You
How
know,
gonna do that?
and then I mean, you know, if you look at El Chapo's story, he built tunnels.
What does a wall? A
First
wall
of
is
all,
nothing.
He was a genius.
El Chapo was that
Did
dude.
you see the
is.
thing on
I'm
Netflix?
watching it. I'm watching it now. El Chapo was that dude. But you know, I feel like of all of the drug lords, I mean, I know, and this is off topic, but Griselda Blanco had a rough way. But this dude,
She
El
was
Chapo, was
Griselda
was
was
getting.
she.
El Chapo
She
was
about
getting
that life though.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was part of Pablo Escobar's Medellin cartel. But you know, El Chapo created the biggest drug organization in the world, the Sinaloa cartel.
Mm-hmm.
But this man went through it
He escaped prison like what, 4 times?
twice.
It was 2
2 or 3 times.
It was
Once
I
in
thought it was more than
'93 and
Didn't he
once in
recently
2015.
escape prison? Like
Like in the
recently?
last-
2015.
Yeah.
And then they caught him, and he's awaiting trial now.
Oh, they did get him.
Yeah, he's
He ain't
he's
getting away this time.
Yeah, he's
'Cause
in jail.
America.
He's in Brooklyn.
Oh.
He's in Brooklyn. Yeah, they were supposed to have his trial recently, but it got pushed back to April. But
That's
yeah,
gonna be a circus.
but he's had a raw deal though. Like
what?
he spent a lot of time. I'm saying it compared to the other
Yeah,
drug dealers.
his
Like he
movie-
spent more time
his
in
movie
jail
gonna be the
than
truth.
somebody like Pablo
It's
or
about
something.
having
You know what I mean?
pictures of
Pablo went to jail, but he had a great time in jail. You know what I
Not
mean?
really. Pablo didn't go to jail.
That's what I'm saying.
That wasn't jail.
That's what I'm saying. Pablo Escobar, he built his own jail.
See, Pablo was too believing his own hype.
Yeah.
Like he was killing people in the jail, like all that. He was doing too much.
Yeah, he wild.
If he had just went there and just laid low, he'd have been.
Yeah, Colombia didn't have the power that Mexico had. So it was like Mexico was like, we're not gonna let you just go ham. You gotta go down.
I wanna,
But we was off base with that one.
I want to touch on something we didn't say we were going to touch on, but just
Okay,
briefly.
go ahead.
I want to say rest in peace to Erica Gardner.
Yes,
Kind of a little pulled at my heartstrings with her
crazy.
story.
That's crazy.
For someone
Yeah.
to have as much heart and to be as courageous as she was to fight the system with her father's murder, and just the way that New York City police restrains the citizens during arrest, and to have her die of a heart illness. I just found that so ironic.
Yeah.
And I've seen conspiracies. Oh, he killed her. You know, because she was still investigating her father's father's death. However, you know, I just feel like, you know, we've been taking some hits, losing some real good.
We are under fire, man, and half of us know and don't care because they don't feel like it affects them. Half of us have no clue.
Yeah, well, I guess that too. But I just wanted to, you know, have a small segue about that real quick.
Definitely. So going into this, Genuine.
I'm about to say it because I know you want to talk about it.
Genuine was sexually assaulted.
Oh my God. So
Genuine
talk
was sexually assaulted.
Because you are passionate about this little subject. Go
so
ahead.
Genuine, the singer from Maryland, from Southern Maryland, by the way,
Yes.
was on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK version. And I don't know the transgender celebrity that's on there. I didn't really do too much digging. But in the long story, basically asked Genuine, would you date me? Would you date a transgender person? Genuine said, no, I would not. That's not my orientation. I would not date you. Now, this is the part that people are focusing on most, is that he said he would not date this person. Mm-hmm. And now he's transphobic or he's homophobic. He's all these other things. But what they failed to realize about the part of the story that gets often omitted was that this trans person then tried to force a kiss on Genuine.
Yeah, they said that.
By the simplest form, that is sexual assault.
It is.
So Genuine is being... I mean, this is what a lot of people being accused of. You tried to forcibly kiss this man because he said, you're not my orientation. So so this man is basically getting chastised for his right to choose who he wants to be with. Not only that, he was sexually assaulted. Could you imagine Ellen DeGeneres or what's her name, Wanda Sykes, saying to another person, I try to kiss them and say, Wanda, you wouldn't date me? No, you're not my orientation. And I get mad and attempt to kiss Ellen or Wanda because I'm not her orientation and I'm mad? Mm-hmm. And now I would get mad at them? What society we living in today?
First of all, I don't care what your orientation is. Unless I invite you to kiss me, don't kiss me.
Facts.
See, we have this thing called personal space.
Yes.
And once you violate that, I feel threatened.
Yes.
So if he would have decked that person, I think he would have been well within his right because that was a form of assault. He was not welcoming to it. And the previous comment he made lets you know that he would not be welcoming to it. So it definitely crossed the line. And I think that, once again, it's something to fuss about because at the end of the day, that person was wrong. You just cannot go up and kiss anybody. You know, we have these things called boundaries, and for some reason, people think that we don't have that anymore. Like, no, you just cannot touch me. No, you cannot just come up and kiss me. I don't care if I was your orientation. I don't know you. You know, you're not just gonna come up and kiss me. I don't know where your mouth been at.
Right.
You had a kissing disease. You have herpes.
He was sexually assaulted.
You have halitosis. I don't know what the case may be, but I didn't invite it, so
he was sexually assaulted. And the sad part is, once again, another black male being attacked on the premise of sexuality, gender neutrality, orientation. At the core of this, if he was a woman, if he identified as being a woman, this would be a major thing of sexual assault. Not saying that women I'm not trying to say more or less anything here or there. The point is, people should not be sexually assaulted, period.
Right.
But why, when this black man gets sexually assaulted, we have people defending the sexual assault? Because
we're made out to be sexually deviant.
You say, where you talking about, black folks?
Black people, yes. Mm-hmm. African Americans. And on top of that, you know, men aren't supposed to get sexual assaulted.
Oh, now you're talking. But
that's not true. We know that's not true.
Now you're talking, because that's a core issue of itself.
I mean, we've discussed this before.
We talked about this ad nauseum.
With you know, the whole babysitter first sexual experience, that thing, and sleeping with your teacher, and that thing, and all that. Yeah, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, don't come for mine. This ain't what you want. In the words of my sister, Kristen Hood, this ain't what you want. Did you like a shirt she had? This ain't what you want. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I like it.
Don't do that with mine.
I mean, and it goes back to a societal, cultural issue.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't see how this man, like, I just don't. I don't see it. And then, going back to the Terry Crews situation, how
they downplayed it.
How they downplayed that. How Wendy Williams claimed this man to be her friend, but had the audacity to make a mockery of that.
Man, is anybody really Wendy Williams' friend?
I don't know. But my point is, but if you look at that episode when she talked about it, and this enraged me. I mean, I wasn't in Terry Crews' position. Terry Crews is a massive man.
He is. He's a big
no
dude.
Pushover by any point of me.
Dude.
And he said, in a sense, they were like, well, why didn't you react? He said, man, I had to look at my wife, who was like, yo, don't do it. Because at the core of things, as black men, right, if that was to happen, the likelihood of what he would have did to that guy, that would have got overshadowed the fact that he got assaulted, that all of this other stuff would have happened, and then she would have lost her husband.
Out of somebody. Yeah.
She would have lost her husband. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or not to mention that the police roll up and see this guy and what happens from there. And who knows how Terry Crews goes off. He might not be that person that would have went from 10 back down to 0. He might have wrecked the whole joint. So, but then you go to Wendy Williams and she's talking about this instance. The entire audience that was, I won't say the entire audience, I would say majority of this audience that is female dominated, African American, white, whatever, was laughing. Was straight up laughing. So how is it that sexual assault on Terry Crews is funny? How is it that sexual assault on Genuine, he's the bad guy?
Because it's how from number one, how we perceive men. And like you said, they're sexual predators. That's the umbrella.
And what president
of course,
candidate said that?
American man.
What presidential candidate said that about us being sexual predators?
Was that Hillary?
All right, just wanted.
Your homie?
Just wanted to know.
Your homie?
Just wanted to know.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like it's so much work to be done, and it's so hard to undo the wheel that's been turning for so long. But yeah, I agree. By definition, he definitely was sexually assaulted.
Sexually assaulted, man. It baffles me. It's almost to the sense like when my Facebook friend was commenting on She's Gotta Have It. And this is a black female black woman who said, I don't like how Nola's character was doing all of these sexually deviant activities that are wrong and justifying it in the name of free spirit feminism, like, oh, I'm choosing, I have the power at this, that, and the third. This was her words, this was not mine. But I equate that to say, I don't like how people utilize other people's struggles and their agendas for bad. So the LGBTQ community is going through a lot on its own.
Right.
You're justifying the actions of this person,
right,
and then leaning on that to justify it.
And that's what would have happened if Terry Crews had beat up that guy.
Yeah.
The gay community would have rallied around him.
Yeah.
As the quote unquote victim.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. That probably went down like that.
Absolutely.
It was I was reading an article as well that there was a murder of a African American lesbian woman in D.C. that they were saying wasn't getting any press. They felt like the police weren't doing any type of investigation. I'm so upset that her name escapes me right now. But this was recent. Like this happened over the last week or so.
Yes.
And her they were interviewing her best friend who was also a former girlfriend, and she said she felt like they weren't even considered, like they weren't even trying to find out who killed her.
Right.
And she was killed in such an egregious way, like they set her on fire and everything. So, I mean, definitely I would think that would be classified as a hate crime.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure of all of the circumstances that surrounded what happened, but Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. We got to do better.
It definitely
disturbing.
belittles the struggle of those who really need somebody to fight for them.
Yeah,
when you
absolutely.
when you use this privilege, right? Because we have a big issue with privilege in this nation. You know, when you use your privilege for bad, and it's like people have to understand privilege is relative to the subscriber.
Right.
It can come in many forms. It can come from anybody, but we have to stop thinking that everybody, you know, is a human, that people don't feel. And when you justify the actions, the inappropriate actions of somebody else by using the struggle of some people that are really going through some things, you cheapen their movement.
Absolutely.
You cheapen everything that they have going on. It takes away everything that means something. And it amazed me. I couldn't believe that he was getting that type of backlash and that people were even saying that.
I think that, you know, and it also has to do with his physical, you know, appearance too. His size. They feel like, you know, how could somebody approach him? You know, so I mean, it's unfortunate. It is. But maybe by him, you know, doing what he did, that could kind of, you know, put the spark.
Put the spark on what?
Out there that, you know, men do get sexually assaulted. Like,
but we know that though. That's the thing. We know that though.
We know that, but do men really speak out about it? Do they really report it?
I mean, but here's the thing. All right, I hear you. Terry Crews wasn't enough.
Him by himself?
I'm just saying.
I'm saying
I'm saying if Genuine, I don't know how big Genuine is physically, but if Terry Crews standing at 6'5", maybe, I don't know for sure. I'm not fact checking. 265, former NFL prospect player. If he couldn't get, I mean, for him to come out and say that
was real big
in the country, in the culture, and the society, Wendy Williams to act and respond in the way that they did. What hope do black men have?
I think black men have hope, because although that was the popular, I guess, response, I don't think that was the only response, because I think that he might have gotten some other stuff too, swinging the other way. So
what you mean? What you talking about?
I'm sure that he might have got some, you know, support as well. I'm sure it was not all bad, you know.
It was minimal. I mean, it's just.
Just to step up and say that, you know, something didn't in fact happen, I think that is big by itself.
Yeah.
Because so many men don't say anything.
Absolutely.
They don't say anything. So.
And what we always say: hurt people, hurt people.
Oh yeah, cycle continues.
Hurt people, hurt people.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have Netflix.
Yes.
And I watched this TV series that my godmother recommended. Shout out to my godmother Donna, who's watching. Hi Donna. Called Atypical.
Didn't have a seen
Atypical is this series about a boy who is on the autism spectrum that wants to start dating. When I tell you this thing was amazingly hilarious.
It's funny?
It was, yes, and I was surprised because I didn't think that I would find it funny. Mm-hmm. But it's not doing it in a mocking way. They're not mocking his disability.
They're telling the truth of reality.
Yeah, and it's really, I think it's really cool how they do it, because number one, it brings awareness to autism.
Okay.
And it talks about, you know, the symptoms of autism. It talks about how it can be coped with. Mm-hmm. It gives a perspective from the parents of the autistic child and the community and the high school that he goes to. So I dig it. It was a really good series to watch, and I binge watched it. You know, fly through.
I guess you got
stay up to 4 a.m.
You got time to do that, huh?
Don't
life
do that.
Life must be good.
It was really good, and there was another one somebody told me about called Black Water.
I'm not sure.
Something, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm on El Chapo right now.
Huh?
I'm on El Chapo right now.
And then I watched the documentary for Freeway with Ricky Ross.
Ricky Ross, I did watch
Did you see that?
It's
that
old. I thought it was old though.
It's old?
It's an old documentary.
Oh, I
but
never seen it.
They put
it was
on
pretty
Netflix.
good. I liked it because he was going to court with Rick Ross at the time, and that did happen a while ago.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was. I remember when they did that, and I remember him doing the interviews.
Yeah, that was an old documentary, but they did.
Now, what I didn't know, I didn't know how the government had tied into it. I didn't know that part about it.
Yeah.
So that was all new to me.
If you watch, I think it's Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner, the guy that plays Hawkeye in Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah.
He plays Gary Webb, who was a reporter that broke that story that basically.
Oh, is that the one that they said killed himself?
Yes, that shot himself twice in the head. How
Yeah,
you shoot
they
yourself
said that.
twice
I'm
in the
like,
head?
Really, and y'all ruled that suicide?
Yeah.
Just see how he did.
Yeah. So that if you watch that movie with him, it kind of gives you the theatrical portion of what was going on.
Okay.
And if you remember that lady that was
Is that on
talking,
Netflix?
no, it's on demand, I think, but I think you have to pay for it. But it's one of those that you could find. But if you know, it speaks about it in so many different ways, and it's just crazy. But these are things that we knew. You know, the government admitted it. We knew what was going on. And it's so crazy because, and I think this ties into a lot of what we always talk about. We have so much systemic resistance and so much systemic things against us that now is the time more than ever for us as a people to begin trying to get that healing that we always talk about. Because there are women out here, there are black women out here that dislike black men just because society tells them to. Mm-hmm. There are black men out here that do sisters wrong just because society tells them to. They don't think individually about how I treat this woman. Do I want my daughter being treated that way?
Right.
You know, we don't think about, I have a nephew. I don't want to talk about young black boys this way. Mm-hmm. And we have so much that we need to overcome before we can even really get to the systemic issues, because that right there is a never-ending battle.
Yeah, like I said, our issues run deep. Our scars are very deep. Yeah. And, you know, that cycle has to be broken. It's going to take some work, though. It is going to take some work because you have so many people that are so resistant to it.
I definitely think, though, you know, and what I witnessed firsthand when we used to do the shows, and I referenced it, and I always will continue to reference it for those who never watched it or whatever. But when we used to go to the bars, and man,
used to be lit.
That was a good time. We would go to the bars, everybody would come, we eat, get saucy, and you know, we would start out with neutral topics, but somehow, some way, it becomes us
battle of the sexes.
But at the end of the day, with one thing that was always a constant, no matter how many people got cursed out, no matter how many people were mad at each other, people came to an understanding because they really realized that, damn, I didn't know you were feeling like that, my brother. Mm-hmm. There were women that were like, I didn't know that there are women out here dogging men this way. Mm-hmm. I didn't know, brothers would be like, I didn't know there were dudes out here that weren't taking out the trash.
Or better yet, I didn't see it like that.
Right.
You know, that's
right.
not how I took it, or maybe this is something that I do and that's not how I meant it, but I didn't know you received it that way as a male. So we had a lot of those kind of moments, which was awesome.
And I say that to say, I think if we don't do anything else, and this ties into what we talked about before, if we don't start getting from behind the screen, getting from behind the Facebook and in front of each other to start to talk and hear each other, we're gonna grow further and further apart.
You know, I'm always for the old fashioned socialization, the discussion. I don't even like texting. I want a phone call. Like,
yeah,
I'm all for that.
You're terrible.
Yeah, I don't.
You're
like
terrible.
I don't like it.
You're terrible.
But
you shady when you do text though.
I'm shady?
You're real shady when you do text though.
How you
when you text, you're real foul. You're real shady. You just foul. You're foul. You're foul. You know it.
See, that's the thing.
You're the fourth member of A Side of Shade.
So much room for interpretation, and that's the problem.
You're the fourth member of A Side of Shade.
So from that, don't text me no. From now, you call me.
No.
We're gonna talk.
No.
On the phone.
No.
In a conversation.
No.
Because you are misinterpreting my.
I never really have a problem misinterpreting anything you say, because I know 9 out of 10, if it gets to that point, one of us is gonna call.
Oh, you know I am. I'm a straight.
One of us is gonna call. You like, so I didn't get it, but you are the fourth. You are the fourth member of A Side of Shade.
Text message, huh? You said I'm a what?
You are she's the fourth member of A Side of Shade.
Conversation. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you.
Yes, healing does.
And excuse me,
start the conversation.
I don't think I'm shady at all.
All right. I think you are.
Anyway, so
yeah. Well,
next month is Valentine's Day.
It's also Black History Month.
The Day of Love.
It's also Black History Month.
We're gonna get to that. Can you let me let my progression?
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. As a father of
3
young girls,
yes,
3 girls, do you get your daughter something for Valentine's Day?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Or if I don't get them something, I'll tell them, that it is, or we'll do something special. But I'm always doing something.
Now hold up. Let
special
me just say this before people start coming. Oh, you supposed to be woke? How you celebrating Valentine's Day? It was a massacre. Listen, let me just touch on that because we go through this about everything. Like I'm really I've gotten to the point where I log off on Valentine's. I mean on holidays. Period. Because it just gets ridiculous, the back and forth. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. It's always something. However, don't get it twisted. I know my history. I know, how things have come to be. But we need love in this world. I don't care if it's celebrated on a day. If we get a day of love, a whole day of love, I'm for it. I don't care about that. I'm also going to be supportive of anything positive, anything that brings joy, anything that brings
this your 2018 mission?
People together. I'm for it.
This your 2018 mission?
No,
I mean, this has been your mission.
It's not a 2018 mission. This is just how I live.
Yeah,
you know. And I mean, I think that a lot of things have negative connotations. A lot of things in the background or at the basis of it could have started in a very negative way.
Absolutely.
So I don't want you to not know the history, or definitely know where it came from. Know where it stems from. And if you decide to celebrate, good. If you don't, good. Well, however your stance, I think that that's another form of contention that we have, where we battling each other, and I don't think we need to be that.
Yeah.
But anything that brings forth some type of positivity, some type of joy, spread some type of love, I'm always there for it.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to get that out of the way. However, I just asked you that because my father gets me something for Valentine's Day every year. Well, he has always got me something for Valentine's Day.
And he still gets you Christmas gifts and stuff too?
Yes, my father gets me something for Christmas every year. Like, you don't understand. My father is the last of one of the dying breeds. I'm telling you, they don't make him no more. Believe that. Like, he is super awesome. But I just say that to say, I think that we think about Valentine's Day in the romantic sense, which is, I think, is pretty much pushed and played. But love is love. I get my friends Valentine's Day cards. My girlfriends get stuff on Valentine's Day if I'm doing all right at the time. I'll get them a little something for Valentine's Day because it's a day to promote love. Not saying that you should not promote love the other 364 days of the year. You should.
Right.
But just it to be like a highlighted moment, I think that is pretty dope.
So you know what Valentine's Day is this year? It's on a Wednesday. You know what comes out after that? Black Panther. God damn it! Happy Valentine's Day.
Now, okay, Black History Month is also in February.
Yes.
One of the things that another form of contention between our people, how we just celebrate talking about black people in February. Well, don't talk about them all year long. I'm fine with that. But to say that this is the month that we highlighted, I don't see anything wrong with that. Well, this is the month where it gets super celebrated. Don't see anything wrong with
and it goes back to knowing your history in the sense that Carter G. Woodson proposed this at a time where black people weren't getting celebrated about much anything.
Yep.
So he felt we decided we needed our own month. This is what it is. So
yeah, I mean, we talk about Black history stuff all the time at my house, because I'm always here for the culture. But I try to think of something to do during Black History Month because they don't do it in schools like they used to. We used to have a whole Black History Month assembly. People who were highlighted on a daily basis in school. They don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah.
They don't do that anymore, and that's another issue in our education system. So definitely. I encourage all of you parents out there, grandparents out there, godparents, uncles, aunts, whatever, grab up some kids and, spit some Black history facts to them real fast. If you don't know none, you need to learn something. Let this be a teaching moment for you. Go learn about somebody else besides Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X. There were many, 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 many pioneers, many people who did, major contributions to, our history. So let this be a moment of learning.
Well, this is a good comeback show for the year. And
Don McKay, you got Valentine's Day plans? What you doing?
You going to see Black Panther. You going to see Black Panther. Thursday.
That Thursday.
That's what I'm saying.
So really
We having a
quick.
podcast
Oh, for real?
on Thursday.
Dope.
Okay. Gotta learn more about that.
I just want to say really quick that my business.
Really? You ain't telling
Why
nobody.
you ain't tell us?
You ain't telling nobody. No, you haven't.
Nah.
You foul.
Nah.
Nah, you foul.
They came on and talked about it last month.
You foul.
They will be here on the 23rd to talk about it more.
You foul.
Yeah, so they get bus. Like you park your car, you take the bus. They got a bus over. It's gonna be. What'd you say? It's gonna be lit.
You foul.
I bet it is.
You foul.
Real quick, I want to just say that my business, J. Pope and Associates, along with my sister's business,
Give it a hand clap. Give it a hand clap on that one.
Expressed every year since last year. Yeah, she was our first year. This year's our second one. We're doing Open Hearts for the Homeless, where we are donating what we call love bags to the homeless that we see around our city. So we, if you're on our Facebook page, you follow Speak Easy, I will be posting some details there. Where we're getting donations for some travel size little toiletries and things to make some little bags, and we also do some sandwiches and snacks and everything. And we put together some bags and we take it and we actually go out on Valentine's Day and pass these things out to the homeless. One of the things that we want to, kind of put out there, the homeless, gets attention around the holidays with Thanksgiving, Christmas, but all throughout the year, they don't get no love. Right. So we say, this is a day of love. And like I said, love comes in many forms. So this is just a way that we can show that, we're still thinking about you. We're still here. We still want to support you. We still want to help you. And we go out and give these bags. Last year, it was just myself, Kristen, and my sons. And we literally rode around everywhere. And it was such a awesome experience speaking to these people, giving these people this stuff. So, be on the lookout for that. I will be promoting the flyer for it. And if you can find it in your heart to spread some love in this city and donate, please feel free to donate.
No doubt. This has been a great start for 2018. Diamond K, we appreciate you. RadioOnFire.com. We'll be back. And don't forget, clean up your city, pick up the trash, and we out.
Go see Black Panther. I believe you having like a whole field trip and you ain't tell us.